Heart of the Rockies has been around for 12 years, and at the outset we kind of came together as there are 24 member organizations from national conservancies down to local land trusts. It encompasses the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, so southwest Montana up through what we call the High Divide, connecting landscape into the central Idaho wilderness, big extensive wilderness with buffer areas around it that we protect, and then to the north up into the crown of the continent around Glacier and Waterton parks, and then up into the upper Columbia of British Columbia and Alberta. So all the way from the Green River in the south to the Bow River in the north. And at the outset it was thinking, well, if we work collectively, work collaboratively, maybe we can bring more resources for conservation to this landscape. We can elevate its stature. We can increase the pace of conservation. And I think we've wrestled for some time around, what that really means, how we do that, how we take local to landscape. And what we're finding, and it's really starting to gain momentum, is the power of doing just that. We're bringing all stakeholders to the table, and again recognize we're a public land dominated landscape. Sometimes there's concern about that kind of an approach, big picture. Is this going to somehow take over local property rights, or is it an idea that wants to sort of create some huge national park across the whole landscape? That's not at all what we're about. It's about working with local stakeholders with local goals. One of our primary goals is conserving priority ranch lands, retaining that culture and tradition while we conserve these really big landscape values. So we've wrestled with that somewhat in the past, but I think what we've learned is taking local to landscape is really what it's about. And it's about sitting down with stakeholders, bringing everyone to the table, building trust, being there long term. We have a lot of conservation success to build from. We've collectively protected approaching 2 million acres in that landscape. So we've got a lot of conservation success, and we're on the shoulders of the folks that created the world's first national park and the national forest, all of that. So rolling that up in ways that benefit local communities and landscape at the same time. That's what it's been about. So it's as land trusts, this idea of working locally with willing landowners has always been the mantra, but recognizing that that's really the cornerstone of rolling up to landscape, engaging local stakeholders in that, because we share those values. It's amazing how you sit a rancher down and they can tell you a story. A fourth generation rancher can say, I've witnessed that antelope migration that's 125 miles long. I've seen those critters make that migration, and my family's part of that. I think another element, when you talk with local ranchers, the resource that they value most in these collaborative kinds of efforts is trust. They need to trust that you're going to hear their needs, that you're going to respond to their needs, and that you're going to be there long term. And these conservation entities have now been there for decades, working side by side with these folks. They're partners, and they have common values. The power of conservation at scale has been sort of an incremental process, building that trust again, I guess, and seeing the work that land trusts do, working with willing landowners, is property by property, a conversation across the kitchen table. That's necessarily how it happens. But taking that to where it's not postage stamps, it's a lot of different neighbors working together to do something that rolls up to big impact, and to see over time river corridors that are essentially protected, migration corridors that are essentially intact and secure for the future, to see those pieces over time come together, and people in local communities place a lot of value on that.